Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thank you for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for the Paige Evans design team, and I'm going to be using lots of butterflies on this layout. That's our theme for the week, and Paige has a few butterfly cut files available in the Silhouette store, and so I decided to use this one. It's just simply called Butterfly. It's a very beautiful, detailed butterfly, and so I enlarged it as big as I could on my cardstock and cut it out in white. And I'm going to start with some of my scraps and papers from the Turn the Page 6x6 paper pad. You can see there that I pretty much save every little piece because those size shapes are perfect for backing a cut file like this. This one has a lot of small, intricate shapes to fill, and so all those little pieces of paper are perfect for this. So don't throw away your scraps, especially if you like to back cut files, because you never know when you can just use a little bit of it. So I'm going to go through everything and pick and choose some colors. I want this to be a very nice, bright, springy, girly type layout because I've already got my picture chosen and it's of my daughter. I haven't shown you that yet. But I know I want lots of pinks and corals and yellows, and I'm actually going to wind up incorporating some of the other collections into this to bring even more colors into it. And so if you've never backed a cut file, this is just one way to do it. It's basically cut and paste. I traced around on the back side of the paper and I flipped the shape over, and so when I cut it out, I add a little bit of glue and it just sticks right to it, and when you turn it over, it's like putting a puzzle together. And you don't have to trace and cut it. You could just add your glue and stick the paper behind it and then cut around it. Sometimes I do it that way. Sometimes I do it this way. This one is, if you can see, the butterfly, the detail on it, some of the lines are very thin. And so I wanted to make sure that I cut the shapes just where there was just enough around the edges to where it wouldn't overlap into the next space. And so that's why I did tracing on this one. Sometimes the shapes are bigger and you can just glue it down and cut around it, but I didn't want to rip or tear anything, and so I did it this way. And I'm just trying to mix and match, get different shades of pinks, corals. I'm going to add some teal. And right now, everything is from Turn the Page collection. And I'm not going to make you watch me do this entire butterfly because it's repetitive and it's the same type of thing, just tracing and cutting and gluing. But it's always fun, and I think the result for backing cut files like this, even though it takes a while, it's definitely worth it because it always looks so pretty and the detail is always awesome. So here's where I decided to bust up into the other collections. This is from Take Me Away. This is Paige's second collection, and it has lots of really pretty bright yellows, soft purple, and really soft mint. And so I thought I would incorporate those colors in here and just sort of create this really light, almost pastelish rainbow effect in the butterfly wings. And so I'm just going to do the same thing, just trace and cut and glue. And I do choose mostly papers that are pretty much what I would call solids. They have some really small patterns on them, or they're ombre like that purple one, but there's not a lot of busy patterns on them. I do use that striped paper though in one or two areas. So there's a couple of spots where you can see pattern. Up close there's small tiny dots or things like that, but I didn't want it to get too busy. And so on this one, I'm tracing it on the front because I want an exact spot on that pattern paper. And if I turned it over, I wouldn't really know where I was tracing. So in this case, I'm going to go over and erase my pencil lines, so you won't be able to see those. But I'm still doing the same thing, cutting and gluing. And so the bulk of it is finished there. I am going to come back off camera and fill in the rest of it. Now, if you remember my my last layout for the Paige Evans design team, I cut out another cut file, a big scallop circle one, using that pattern paper that you just saw there, and I saved it. And here I am using the outer edges of it that usually would just be trashed, but I have little spots here and I want that exact color, and so I'm going to use it. And that paper is from the Fancy Free 12x12 paper pad, and I use the coral part and I'm going to use that hot pink part. And so it just goes to show you that you never know about your scraps. see, you would never know that I never thought I would use that, but I did. So I've got everything finished now. I love how this looks. I love the color scheme. This paper jumped out at me. I hadn't used this yet. I don't think I've used it yet, but this is from Take Me Away, the 12 by 12 paper pad. And I'm going to use this picture of my daughter. She's got a purple shirt on, and I'm going to combine it with a bunch of butterflies. I've got the big butterfly done. This is from Turn the Page. It's paper number 4, and it is overloaded with gorgeous butterflies. And so you could have yourself a heyday fussy cutting out butterflies. And that's what I did. I didn't cut all of them out, but I did cut out way more than I wind up using. But that's okay, because there's always room for a butterfly on your page. So the picture is of my daughter from, gosh, I think four or 5 years ago on her very first trip to the dentist. And so she was kind of hesitant at first, and so they let her sit in the chair and they gave her a magazine, and she loves to flip through books and magazines, and so that's what this picture is about. So now what I'm going to do, I got all the butterflies done. I did a light pencil trace around the butterfly, and I want it kind of crooked, like it's going to fly off the page, so part of the wing is going to hang off the left side. I'm going to use some white gesso here and just use my finger and create sort of a white cloudy smudge around the perimeter of the butterfly, because I'm going to come back and add in some watercolors. So I've got that done there, and it's not too dramatic, but it's going to make a big difference when I start to add in the colors. And so I've pulled out some of my shimmers here. I've got some ink sprays in the bottles, and then I've got some inklings, which are in those little pots that you have to add water to. And I'm going to start with some packaging and just do a little bit at a time here. I just want all the colors sort of peeking out from underneath the butterfly in certain areas. I didn't want to do too much. I just wanted to accentuate the colors. And I'm going to wind up tucking the picture. I keep doing it there. I'm going to tuck it under the bottom right wing of the butterfly, because in the picture there's some open area to the left of her head and shoulder that aren't really important in the picture, and so I don't mind covering that up because it's not taking away from the picture. So I'm combining some different shades of pinks here with some coral. I've got some yellow and some purple. I always love when I can incorporate purple on a layout. I know some people love it, some people hate it, but there is a lot of purple in the Take Me Away collection. And so whenever I get a chance to use it, I'm going to. And since my daughter has on a purple shirt, might as well focus on the purple. And there's a little bit of purple on that background sheet. You can see it's got like that hot pink, well, not hot pink, but more of like a coral pink color up at the top. It fades into purple, then at the bottom it fades into some of that mint color. It's so pretty. I love that. And I don't want to take away from that. I'm just trying to add a little bit around the butterfly, but around the perimeter of the entire background you can still see the different colors. So now I'm pulling in some aqua or teal here, and I'm just, doing the packaging technique, doing some splatters with the nozzle, some splatters with the brush, a little bit of everything. I like to mix and match in how I put it on the paper. I like to mix and match the colors. If you don't have a color that matches exactly what you want, just mix a couple of colors together until you get it, because I'm a firm believer in mixing and matching, and I know that you can get the exact color you want if you just play around with the colors and add a little of this and a little of that, and you're bound to get something pretty close to what you're looking for. And I'm just using a paper towel here, kind of balled up into a little point, to dab up some of the ink to help it dry a little bit. And this is more of the yellow, and I'm just kind of going back and forth with the colors. And I like how this is looking. It looks kind of like, what in the world is this? But when you put the butterfly back on it, it changes it and makes it look a lot different. And I'm going to just keep adding here. To me, this is the fun part. I love doing the messy backgrounds. It's always fun, and I love how you can just make it your own and make it unique and make it really, coordinate with the papers or the embellishments that you're using, or even your photo. Sometimes it's fun to take a photo with super hard colors in it and kind of customize your background to match it. Okay, so now I'm going to get to work on the picture and all the embellishments, because for the most part the background is finished. And you can see there I'm going to tuck the photo under. If you look at it, you can see right there what I was talking about. There's an area of just the background at the dentist office that it doesn't matter if that gets covered up. This is just some adhesive foam from my stash. I'm going to cut some up and stick it to the butterfly. So the butterfly is going to be raised off the page in this layout, and the photo is going to be flat. Usually I raise the photo up, but in this case, I'm going to reverse that. And now I'm going to bring those butterflies back and just kind of scatter them everywhere to where it looks like an explosion of butterflies. I've got some medium-sized ones, some little ones. I just love how the big one turned out. I'm going to overlap some under the picture and some underneath the butterfly's wings and just kind of make it look as natural as possible. Now, thread, of course, is not natural as possible when it comes to butterflies flying around, but you know I can't make a layout without adding some tangled thread. I have this messy background. I might as well add a little bit more of the messy factor, and so I've got my matching colors of thread here, and I get asked a lot about the thread. This is just your basic sewing thread from Walmart. I think it's like $2.20, something like that. I just try to collect colors every time I go. I'll get 1 or 2 spools, you know, and yeah, it's nothing fancy. It's the same thread that I put in my sewing machine. So now I'm going to start to glue all these little butterflies down. And the awesome thing about butterflies is if you just add a little bit of glue in the middle, you can bend the wings up and they immediately become 3-dimensional. And so it looks like they're literally flying around. I love that. Now I'm going to work with some of the little papers from the 2x2 paper pads, and these are from Turn the Page. I picked out a couple. I'm going to wind up using the one that says All Grown Up, and then I'm also going to use quite a bit from the sticker sheet. So I'm going to pull out some things that made, when I was thinking about the picture, I remember her first dentist appointment, and we were very proud of her for how she did. And so I pulled out the little arrow sticker that says So Proud. The little tab at the top says Good Job. And then I just like this little piece here that says All Grown Up, because, you know, when I look at this and I think of how she used to be a little baby and now she's not, and you know how that goes if you're a parent. So I just like that sentiment, all grown up, even though she was only, I think, 6 or 7 in this picture, but still, she's not my baby. Well, she's always going to be my baby. She's just not a baby. Anyway, enough mush talk. I'm going to use this little piece here that says New Day, because I thought, you know, this was her first time. It's a fresh start. It's a new day. All these little sayings were just working out perfectly for this. And that's going to be my title. I'm going to tuck it in over there on the right. So I'm not going to do a giant title. I don't want to cover up that butterfly. And there's really no other space to put a big title. And sometimes layouts don't need a big title, I don't think. Journaling over on the right. And then I'm going to come back in with more of the rose gold clear stickers from the Turn the Page sticker book. I'm going to use those little splash marks or splash stickers. That's what they remind me of. Just because I thought they looked cute and I like that they echo the gold that I've got going on. I did add some Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine off camera. I don't know why I didn't film that, but you've seen Heidi Swapp Color Shine get splattered around before, I'm sure. I do wind up changing this around. I stick this little Bring It On sticker down, but I peel that off and change a couple of them, but that's pretty much it. That is a final layout. I love how this turned out. I love that giant butterfly. I love the colors. Oh, it's so, so pretty. Definitely check out Paige's cut files because there is something in there for everybody. You could shrink this down and make a bunch of small butterflies. There's so many possibilities. Love it, love it, love it. But yeah, so make sure you check out the blog for more butterfly layouts coming out later in the week from more design team members. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Have a great week.